Show you how to do radial symmetry with an image. You're going to create a brush with an image. So let's start by opening Photoshop. I've got it open. You want to do a new file. Let's go back to that 10 by 10 inches at 240 pixels and start it. Now first we need to create an actual brush. So I'm over here in Adobe Stock and I really do like this one image right here. So I'm going to download this image. It's vector. Here I've got this preview AI, so it's an Illustrator file. And let's turn that one off. This is the AI one here. I'm going to choose the black. I'm going to go to select subject. See if I can get it all selected. It's very frustrating. Try this again with that select subject. Okay, so we're going to now select similar. And it has selected the whole subject, you can see. Okay. So because this is now a smart image, what we want to do is copy it. And let's open a new layer and bring it in, and all we're getting, let's close this, and now all we have is that black layer. I'm going to actually remove these because I don't want to get confused with those two. Let's get rid of those. So you can see it can be a little complex getting your image in, but now we've got it. All right. So now we've got that layer. We want to go to Edit, Define Brush Preset, and we're going to see it shows up in there, that little thing. I'm going to call this long tree branch. All right, now that is a brush, okay? So we can turn that off. You can see you now have a brush called that. And if you look, you can see that's your brush. And if you go up here under brushes, right here, you will see it right here, 1979, sorry, okay? Now, let's do this. Let's now come back to our layers. And I don't really need to see that anymore, so I'm going to turn that off. Now I want to go over here to Radial. And let's do 9 count. You can do however many you want, but I'm doing 9. And make it a little bit bigger. And now you can take that brush, make sure you're showing there. I want to make it, let's make it red. And when you start playing with that brush, target layer is hidden. I have to do a new layer, sorry. When you start playing with that brush, look what happens. So you have to be, think about this. Where do you want it? Okay? Do you want it all the way over here? Look at that. All the different things you can do. So let's do that, and then let's change the color. And I'm actually going to change the brush to one that I made earlier, which is this one. And I'm going to bring that in the middle. And then I'm going to change the color again. Now it's got sort of Christmassy color. And I'll bring in this darker green that would represent, and do a different one that I made. How do I put that right? See? So this shows you that you can actually create the same Mandela effect, although this is radial. Let's actually go backwards. I'm going to delete all that. Let's change this to Mandela. Let's see what happens with Mandela. And I'm going to go back to our original one, the one we just made. Oh, 7 count. Let's give it 7. Back to the brush that we made today, that one. And let's see what happens if, in the target area. See what happens if I do that. I'm getting the same idea as the radial, but there must be something a little different. So now I want to bring in maybe a new brush that will be just like a regular brush, like a solid one like that. And let's say this is, I want to do something that makes it look like Christmas holly. So now, ooh, that brush is way too big. Let's get that brush down. Shoot, where do I get that down? Brush. Where is my size for this brush? Here, size. Bring it down to about there. Not too little. Bring it about there. Okay. Let's start doing this. Now, I'm going to try going back to radial. Let's see what happens when we go back to that. I'm using that brush again. So you get the same sort of thing you do if you're just doing the regular mandala. But you can have fun with this and play with this. Let's just go back to another brush. One more brush here. Let's take this brush again and let's make it small. Oh, not that small. Let's make it kind of small. And let's choose a different color. I'm going to choose a bright yellow. And what happens? Okay, and then I want you to export this as a JPEG. And you're going to name it the appropriate thing, which should always be your name, Radial Symmetry, and upload it. Okay? Thanks, guys. I hope that this was enough of an explanation, and I'd love to see what you could come up with. We were using some kind of plant life. You could use animals, you could use anything that you want. The nice thing about a silhouette, a black and white image, is that it's very easy to make a brush from it. I'd love to see what you could come up with. So here are a couple more that I made using the same brush that we were doing. This one is just using the brush smaller so that I can just get the little bits of the actual tree branch in there on those ends, so changing the size. But then I also went further, and I have some brushes that I've made that are just kind of blobby brushes. You can make a brush out of any art that you make in Photoshop, and this became kind of like a nice dyed piece of tissue.